JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news today, hotel worker dies in St. Elizabeth crash. The St. Elizabeth police is probing the circumstances surrounding a vehicular crash that claimed the life of a woman on the Hodges Main Road in St. Elizabeth on Friday, September 4. The deceased has been identified as 36-year-old Militia Porter, a hotel worker of Shrewsbury District in the parish. The police are reporting that at about 1:30 p.m., Porter was driving her car when she reportedly lost control of the vehicle, which overturned and crashed into a fence. Porter was thrown from the vehicle, which reportedly fell on top of her. The police said Porter sustained multiple injuries and was assisted to the hospital where she succumbed to her injuries. Suspected suicide in St. Catherine. 31-year-old Patrick Miller, a security guard of Beacon Avenue, Thompson Pen in St. Catherine, is suspected to have committed suicide at his home on Thursday. Reports from the Spanish Town Police are that about 7 p.m., relatives discovered his body hanging from the ceiling of his bedroom with an electrical cord tied around the neck. His body was removed to the morgue after the processing of the scene. Investigations continue. Man arrested for illegal possession of firearm. Police officers from the St. Andrew North Division arrested a man for illegal possession of firearm and ammunition during a joint operation in Grandspen, Kingston 8 on Thursday. Reports are that about 2 p.m., lawmen were conducting a joint operation in the area when a man was seen acting in a manner that aroused their suspicion. The police said he was accosted, searched, and a Taurus pistol with a magazine containing 9 9mm rounds of ammunition was found in a bag he had in his possession. He was subsequently arrested. His identity is being withheld pending further investigations. 22-year-old charged after stealing handbag. 22-year-old Nicholas Pinnock, a landscaper of Valley Minor Runaway Bay in St. Anne, was arrested and charged with simple robbery following an incident along Minard Road, Brownstown in the parish on Wednesday, September 2. According to the police, about 9:20 a.m. a woman was standing beside the roadway when Pinnock rode upon a motorcycle and demanded her handbag. He allegedly grabbed the bag from her shoulder and rode off. The police said the woman raised an alarm and an off-duty police officer who was in the vicinity responded and chased Pinnock. He was caught and the handbag was retrieved. Pinnock was handed over to the Brownstown police, who later charged him. He is to appear in court soon. Trelawney woman charged with machete wounding of man. A woman has been charged with wounding with intent following an incident in Racecourse, Falmouth in Trelawney on Sunday, August 23, 2020. Charge is 45-year-old Diane Foster, otherwise called Sunshine, of Racecourse in the parish. Reports are that about 6:30 p.m., a man was attacked by a group of persons who used machetes and knives to inflict wounds to his head and back. On Sunday, August 30, amid a probe of the incident, Foster turned herself into the police and reportedly confessed to having participated in the commission of the crime. She was subsequently charged by the police. A date for her appearance in court is being finalized by the police. Election day workers not required to quarantine. The Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, says it is advising the public that employed people who served as election day workers are not required to quarantine for a period following the recent general election. The EOJ said it is aware that a number of employers are advising their employees who serve that they must quarantine before returning to work. But the EOJ said its position is that the requirement is unnecessary, as measures in line with World Health Organization and the Pan American Health Organization standards were put in place to mitigate the risk of possible infection from the COVID-19 disease among electors and poll workers on election day. It added that further checks with the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the public health authorities confirmed that self-quarantine is not a requirement for election day workers. Wholeness to be sworn in as Prime Minister on Monday. Prime Minister-designate Andrew Holness will be sworn in as Prime Minister of Jamaica in a ceremony on Monday, September 7, 2020. The swearing-in ceremony will commence at 3 p.m. The ceremony will be streamed live. In accordance with the Constitution of Jamaica, Wholeness will take the oath of allegiance, and the oath of office of Prime Minister of Jamaica, after which he'll receive the instrument of appointment to the office of Prime Minister from the Governor-General, His Excellency, the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen. Wholeness will then make his inaugural address to the nation. This is the third time that Wholeness will be sworn in as Prime Minister, having served as Prime Minister from October 23, 2011 to January 5, 2012. He was again sworn in for a second time on March 3, 2016. The Wholeness-led Jamaica Labour Party defeated the People's National Party 49-14 in last Thursday's general election. Western stakeholders want tighter COVID enforcement. With Jamaica's COVID-19 cases now standing at 2,896 infections and 29 deaths following the recent spikes, some stakeholders in Western Jamaica are urging the government to be more stringent in enforcing the Ministry of Health's preventative measures to control the spread of the deadly virus. In an interview yesterday, businessman Robin Russell, the president of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association's JHTA Montego Bay chapter, is suggesting that the COVID protocols now being used by tourism entities should also apply to communities across the country. Russell said there has been no recorded spike of COVID-19 in the hotel sector. Reverend Artley Perrin, the Custos of Westmoreland, believes that the police should be given the power to arrest and charge anyone who refused to wear a mask in public, as was recently done in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew, where several persons without masks were detained under the Disaster Risk Management Act. In the public spaces across the island, the police should have the authority to insist that persons wear their mask, and the individuals should be reminded forcefully, and if they do nothing about it after that, then they should be arrested and charged. We have to go back to the point where you cannot enter any business establishment without your mask and without being temperature checked and sanitized, said Perrin. Following the Jamaica Labour Party's JLP victory in Thursday's general election, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that he would hold a meeting with the Ministry of Health representatives regarding the virus's management in the future, including the potential impact the election period has had on the disease's infection numbers. Errol Green, the Regional Director of the Western Regional Health Authority, says that the organization has done all it can to educate the population on the importance of following the COVID protocols. We have produced more literature than ever before, and we have done community sensitization, so I just do not know what else we can do, as we have done all that is humanly possible. We can only appeal to people to use their better judgment so they can protect themselves and each other, said Green. Health Ministry cautions against unnecessary hospital visits. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is cautioning the public to avoid unnecessary visits to hospitals to avoid overcrowding due to COVID-19. In a press release earlier today, the ministry noted that the country currently has a 22% occupancy for the intensive care units, ICU, high dependency units, HDU beds across the island. The ministry added that there's a 45.7%, 169 of 311 occupancy of COVID-19 designated beds across the country, with the majority of these beds being occupied in the Southeast region, that is 67% occupancy for the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SERA, including the University Hospital of the West Indies. The ministry said hospitals are at this time challenged by increasing numbers of healthcare workers who are in quarantine or isolation. Returning residents want 50% cut in port storage fees. The Returning Residents Association of Jamaica has publicly called on the government to cut storage fees at the ports by 50% for Jamaicans returning home. In a short statement on the subject and released to the media this afternoon, the association argued that many Jamaicans would have shipped their belongings as they returned home have not been able to retrieve them in a timely manner as a result of measures associated with COVID-19. All returning residents who had shipped their belongings and may have paid their fare to return to Jamaica, but could not do so because of the closure of the borders of Jamaica due to COVID, should be given consideration for a waiver of the high fees being charged for storage. The request is that at least 50% of the charges be considered for these returnees, the association said. In the statement, The association did not make any distinction between people who had traveled as tourists and those who, after years of living abroad, were returning to re-establish residency on the island. It, however, made reference to previous intervention on its part for reduction in waivers. The Returning Residents Association, in further pursuing the matter of waivers of exorbitant fees being charged to returning residents, is requesting that this waiver be not only applicable to those who have already been named, but to all returnees having similar circumstances, the statement said. The association is headed by Percival Latouche. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.